Hey, what's good, y'all? It's C Will, and this is the Passive Income Network. On this podcast, we talk about investing in assets that produce passive income. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment and say what's good. On this episode, we have a special podcast feature with Algo Found, Alistair with the app and business Hapcha. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Sue Will, how you doing? How you doing today? All good?
I'm well. Yeah, I'm well. Happy to see you again. Like I said, I like your setup and your background. So kudos to
Thanks.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Got to put the effort in, right? Like
Oh,
that's the
most
whole point
definitely.
behind passive income.
Exactly. All right, man. So let's get into it. Again, thank you for hopping on. It was good to meet you. Let's talk to the community. And first, let's tell them who you are and then where you're located in this big world.
Yeah, so I've had the chance to meet Sue before, so you've heard this before, but
Yeah.
to everyone else, my name's Alistair, and you can probably tell by the accent that I'm British. So yeah, I'm based here in London, in the UK. And so I know you had a chance to get over to Paris. So next time you've got to come to London, man, you've got to
Oh,
come visit. It's
oh,
great
I'll
here.
be there.
Um,
Definitely.
Yeah, so I've sort of been growing up here all my life, and I learnt to code when I was a kid, and then slowly been making weird apps and websites since then. And over lockdown, I had this weird idea, which is could I use machine learning, AI, and hopefully some great UI design to create a nutrition app with a bit of a difference,
Yep.
and ultimately use those technologies to balance the foods that I was eating anyway, so that I could eat the foods that I love and still lose weight, gain muscle, all of that kind of stuff. Whatever goals you have, uh, we want to be able to do that in the flow of life rather than having to put life on hold to do those things. So I set up this nutrition app over the COVID lockdowns, experimented on myself quite a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun, a really great sort of time of learning and came out in sort of July 2021 with Hapcha. So we made it for the happy challengers of this world. As I say, the people that want to get up and focus on real challenges,
Yep.
not on nutrition related challenges. We released it in July 2021, and the response to the app has been really, really great. And we've seen people download it, experiment with loads of different ways of balancing their food and nutrition.
Hmm.
And now we're sort of ready for the next step, which is how do we take that app? How do we grow it? And as part of that, we want to integrate Web3, right? It's so key that Web3, it's so clear even that Web3 is the future. And
Gotcha.
to start experimenting with some of those technologies in a traditional digital consumer experience like an app is something so worth doing. So that's kind of how I got into this space. Have loved the Algorand blockchain as well, particularly, and so I've just been experimenting with that for quite some time outside of the app as well.
Okay, nice. Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah,
Hapcha,
sure.
is that you said happy challenger?
Yeah, right. So
That
like,
what? Okay.
if you ever met those people that say like, "Oh, I want to lose weight for New Year's or whatever," it's like the New Year's
Every
resolution,
year,
and then it
every
kind
year.
of every year, but like
Yep.
at least for the first month or 2 months, it kind of consumes them, and it becomes this thing that they have to do. Like a friend's birthday happens, and they can't have a
Yep.
slice of cake, or they're celebrating and they can't have a drink of something or whatever because they're going all out for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people that want to do that, but for me, it's like food is part of life. So if you take food out of life, you miss out on a lot of great moments, all those sort of social moments that you have with friends and family. And so actually, like finding balance in the foods that you were going to eat anyway is
Hmm.
such a better way, in my view, of experiencing life in general, rather
Yeah.
than sort of just trying to restrict yourself. Because if you restrict yourself, man, you're going to fail, right? If you put yourself on a path, you know, that's not for you, you're going to deviate, right? And you're going to fall off, and then you're going to get disenheartened. So for me, what's worked at least is finding balance in the foods I love. And we can talk
Yeah.
about how the app does that if you want, but yeah, it's been a really exciting, real fun journey doing that. So we're going to get those happy challengers. There's people that want to wake up to do the real challenge, not that
Yes.
fad dieting challenge, and give
So
them the
so
tools to
I'll
fuel up
say,
for it.
like when I was in Paris, I realized that the food there was really like rich, and like
Yeah.
everything was like I was like, oh, this is crazy. So and also too, it's I'm like definitely into health and food, so this interests me. let's get into the app portion of like how would one use the
Yeah.
app? What are some things that they will be typing into the app, and how could it help them out?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll cover the app stuff and then we can move on to the sort of the Web 3.0
Yes.
stuff. So it's a nice progression here, right, through
Yes.
the history of the internet. So for the app itself, you can get it on iOS and Android. So go to your relevant app store, search for Hapcha and download it. Any feedback anyone off the call has, love it. 'Cause that's the first thing, right? You always want to get feedback on these things.
Most definitely.
But specifically how it works is you enter the foods you were going to eat anyway. So all your meals that you were going to have today. And you can kind of do it as you go along throughout the day, or you can do it at the start. It just depends on different people, how organized you are and how you like to plan your day and that kind of thing. And basically there's a big button that says balance. It's in orange, you won't miss it, right? You hit balance and our piece of artificial intelligence sort of looks at all the nutrient makeups of all the foods that you've added, and it changes the amounts of all the foods. So you hit your calories, your carbs, your proteins, and your fats spot on. Now, in terms of the targets that the AI is optimizing for, that's like dependent on which nutrition plan you pick. And we have nutrition plans for losing weight, gaining muscles, staying the same. We've even got like a nutrition plan for kind of sort of sculpting your body out. So, and that's the one I'm on at the moment. I don't know if I should reveal which one I'm on at the moment, because then people would judge me if I hit my targets or not. But either way, like there's loads of different nutrition plans for different goals, different lifestyles. And we want to add loads more. So if you or anyone you know is a nutritionist or dietitian, do reach out to us, because we love to feature people in the app in those nutrition plans. And that's actually quite a good passive income side route there, because we compensate those people really well. So if anyone's interested, just send us a message. But yeah, we have loads of different nutrition plans that people can basically optimize and balance their foods against. So super easy. You log the foods in the app, you hit a big button that says balance. There's a few other features in there, but I'll leave those as a surprise for people to discover when they download.
Okay, and then again, this could so with the food, right? So you're basically putting your meal plan, or you can do it retroactively of like kind of what you ate that day, and then the AI helps you then kind of balance yourself out, right? So if you're eating a lot of,
Exactly.
let's say, cupcakes, right,
Yeah.
or fried food or something, would the app then try to tell you to put more vegetables and fruit into your diet, or how's that work?
Yeah, so let's take an example, right? So you put in your cupcakes, right? Cupcakes tend to be, at a guess and off the top of my head, higher in fat and higher in carbohydrate, particularly sugar, right?
Yep.
So there's two of the three key sort of nutrients that you need each day. The other one, of course, being protein. Now, yes, there is some debate and discussion and to be honest, widely held beliefs amongst nutritionists around different kinds of fats and different kinds of carbohydrates versus carbs versus sugars and that kind of thing. But by and large, if you're not a pro athlete, as long as you find some kind of consistent balance in those, you know, you're going to be okay, right? So the idea here is, let's say you know you're going to a friend's birthday, you know you're going to have a cupcake, you put it in, you hit a big symbol. We have like a button that like has a padlock symbol on it, so it locks that in. So you know, Will is definitely having a cupcake today,
Yes.
right? And then you put in all the other foods that you want, right? Maybe you're having some fried eggs or like some scrambled eggs in the morning. Maybe you're having some chicken and some broccoli in the evening. Maybe you're putting in all these other foods and snacks throughout the day. And then you hit the big button that says balance, and it keeps the cupcake, and then it just tweaks the amounts of all the other foods around the cupcake so that you get as close to your target as possible. So it's not necessarily about closing your rings, like sort of an Apple Fitness kind of thing. It's about getting as balanced as possible with the foods that you were going to eat anyway, right? Because
So
the
it's not trying
alternative,
to
yeah,
take from you more, just add on more for you.
yeah, it's just trying to find balance in what you would have had anyway, right? You know that old phrase at like school, everything in moderation is good for you, right?
Yes.
The AI is doing that for you. And whilst, you know, there will be some nutritionists and dietitians that, you know, have an opinion against some of those ideas, you know, like, let's be honest, no dietitian is going to say, have a cupcake, right? They might do, but the point is it's about finding balance in what you're going to have anyway, because optimizing the diet you already have makes a diet that's easy to stick to, right? So you're not going to fall off and feel disheartened when you don't get that cupcake at your friend's birthday, or if you do have that cupcake, you're not going to go home and think, oh, I've fallen off the horse. Oh, you know what, I'll give it up today, and you know what, I'll give it up the rest of the weekend, right? Just keep going. And maybe there's a business and passive income sort of thought there as well, which is just, look at what you're good at and optimize what you already have for success. But that, I'll leave you to do that kind of
Oh,
philosophy.
makes sense. Okay. And then again, this app is built in a Web3 fashion now too. So let's talk about Web3. And then if I'm correct, you're using Algorand?
Yeah, so we're using Algorand because of the low transaction fee, makes it super easy to develop and test as well. And there's a whole load of other really exciting projects on that blockchain around this topic of the future of food, right? It's really important to me that we're not just a nutrition app, but that we're sort of hopefully creating a little bit of a launch pad for things in the space of things around personalized nutrition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being associated with the same blockchain as other sort of utility use cases is really, really important to me. So what we've done with that particular blockchain is explore actually just an alternate method of payment. So nothing too fancy at this stage, like nothing too big, but it's those early experiments, those iterative tests and learns that are going to help us as an app grow.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to share that first step. So as I mentioned, I'm here in London, I'm here in Europe, and I know we're not quite the EU anymore, but let's not go too deep into that.
Yep.
But the one of the interesting things that got announced at the end of 2022 was that the EU has basically applied pressure to Apple and to Google to release the monopoly on app stores on their devices, right?
Okay.
So there's pressure on Apple to make it possible to do something that they've never done before and have never wanted to do. It's something called side loading, the idea of getting an app on your iPhone from a different store other than the App Store.
Like
right?
other than, okay, so because I know Android uses Google Play, so we're not talking
Yes,
about those.
yeah.
This is specifically for Apple.
Well, it's kind of targeted at both, but it has a much bigger impact on Apple because of the way that they've built their ecosystem. There are a few other app stores on Android that aren't as widely used as the Google Play Store, but this is going to change everything for Apple, and where Apple goes, to some degree, the industry follows. And so I want you to picture it a bit like this, right? We've gone through, since 2008 when the iPhone came out, an incredible amount of change. Right, we've seen pretty much every business disrupted by the fact that you can access the world through one of these.
Yep.
And whether it's taxi, fast food, takeaways, whatever it is, it's probably there's a good case that industry has been disrupted in the last 12 years, or at least made a lot more efficient.
For sure.
And for sure, right? And the backbone of that has been that every single payment has gone through Apple. Every single payment pretty much has gone through Google.
They have a monopoly, basically.
They have a monopoly. And it's not, to be clear, there's some balance here. It's not entirely a bad thing. Like Apple and Google have done a great job at creating particularly Apple, a really, really safe walled garden ecosystem that stops threats getting in. Like, do you remember how crazy like viruses were in the early days of like PCs? So there's
Apple's done a great job with that.
Yeah, there's swings and roundabouts here. So I'm not being all anti-Apple and Google. I don't want to, especially anyone that's reviewing the next version of the app. I don't want anyone seeing that and thinking that. But one of the things that's really interesting, right, is this change has also led to the rise of subscription models. Like everything seems to be a subscription now. Like you can go outside and get a subscription for a car. Like you can get a subscription for a bike. I mean, it's crazy how how a business model like that has just transformed the world, because businesses love it because they get ongoing revenue. But sooner or later, we want to own stuff, right? Like that's the whole point of having an asset. That's the whole question that crypto has thrown back up, right? We want to own something. And so for me as a small business owner starting an app, it is really, really difficult to get new customers. It's really difficult to bring new people in. And the key to doing that is to experiment, to learn, and to fail, basically. So one of the things we've done is we've made an NFT series on Algorand, 250 NFTs using different food textures to reimagine our logo. And if you buy one of these NFTs, it's about the cost of sort of maybe 1.5 years subscription. But you get the whole app for free for life, right? You just got to go to our website, link your MyAlgo wallet to your account, or I say MyAlgo, whichever one, Algo wallet.
Para.
Yeah, maybe Para. Yeah, use Para because that's the other one that we've integrated, right? So you can use any of your Algo wallets. You can link into your account. It will check to see if you have one of our NFTs, and if you do, then you unlock all the features of the app for free for life. And I know that sounds a little bit like, we've been on this call for 15 minutes and that's the punchline, that's the big wow. But I just want to highlight something for the community here. Like, this is an early experiment led by one, quite frankly, nutter in the middle of London, right? So
shout out to London.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be an experiment. And the idea is this: there's nothing to say that in the next few years, as legislation rolls out in the EU to stop the App Store being the only way to get apps on your iPhone. Similar stuff is being discussed in the US by legislators, by the way.
Yep.
If that rolls out more further afield, it is highly likely that the next big App Store competitor will use Web3 technologies to process payments. Imagine every single app on your phone being unlocked by an NFT. Or maybe you buy an NFT that opens up access to loads of different apps. Maybe like 100 different apps across loads of different spaces team up together to be unlocked by one NFT that you buy. We don't know, but there is a really great opportunity here for Web3 to disrupt that historic part of Web2. And it's going to take people experimenting and trying things. Yeah, exactly, right? So we've got to try these experiments. We've got to see if it resonates with communities across Algorand and across Web3, because this is probably one of the best shots at making crypto somewhat mainstream, because everyone uses pretty much everyone uses a smartphone. You've got yours, right? I've got mine. Everyone uses a smartphone, but only 7% of the world's wealth is actually tied up in cryptocurrencies. So there's an opportunity here to bring in people that wouldn't normally engage with Web3, right? And well, we're giving it a go. So anyone that wants to give it a try with us, and come along and give us some feedback, because we're always looking for it.
Okay, let's recap a little bit. So we got
I go on.
No, you're good. You're good. Nutritional health app, right? That has Web3 integrations. Okay, and then you what's the name of the NFT project?
Yeah, so the name of the NFT project is the Hapcha NFT community, because it's not just a gateway to the app. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's not just a gateway to the app. We also have a Discord server now as well, where we're collecting feedback on the app, on the community. We have like a dedicated page for all the NFT holders as well. And one of the cool things that we have committed to, I won't go too far down our roadmap because we haven't, it's better to under promise and over deliver. But the one thing we have promised is that once we sell all 250 of the NFTs, we will make it possible for people to pay for their app subscription in Algorand, and the NFTs will effectively become referral links. So if you own an NFT and someone signs up through your referral link, you'll get an ongoing portion of that as they renew and pay in Algorand. So there is a small passive income connection there as well.
And especially, as you said, for the Web3 model with the Hapcha app, these first 250 NFTs, these are opportunity for like early adopters of this app to actually have, more incentives, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we want to get people using and exploring the app and giving feedback at a relatively low cost for them. And we also want people to feel a real sense of ownership, right? Like, nutrition and food is something that everyone in this world pretty much has to eat and engage with. And so we wanted to create a series that kind of reflected and recognized that, offered the functionality of the app, and hopefully built a community around it as well, because it's the same with any goal worth doing. you want to get around people that are trying to work towards the same thing for encouragement as well. So Web3 seems to have a unique ability to create communities and to create a sense of ownership, and those two things combined with the app itself and then the Discord too, create, I think, a really special offering for those looking to hack their productivity through nutrition, right?
Yes. And I'll say, like, the Algorand community or people who are into algo would definitely like this, because these are those type of projects that have more of Web3 in the background for per se. And it helps to expand, the possibilities rather than just the traditional applications like DeFi. So I'm like, kudos to you. I think this is a great idea. I'm personally definitely into health and nutrition myself. Yeah, my wife too graduated. Her degrees are in nutrition, so we eat
Cool.
organic. We do all of that type of stuff. So it resonates with me 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're available in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and of course the UK. Hopefully, going to some other countries as well. But being in the US, if you decide that you want to get involved, or your wife wants to get involved as well, we can always do a SeaWorld nutrition plan. That could be quite fun, actually. It'd be fun.
I know. We'll consider it. That's a
Yeah,
great idea.
consider it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things where the more I've worked on it, the more I've been able to meet people like yourself and share the idea. And more often than not, we've found a way for so many different people to contribute, and it makes me so happy. So it's one of the reasons I keep doing it.
For sure. Okay, so we start to close out. Can you talk
Yeah.
about one of your main goals for the future, and then tell people where to find you?
Yeah, sure. So one of my main goals for the future is to get loads of people using the app, not for the sake of numbers, but for the sake of results, right? So I know personally that this app has changed my life. It's a bit cheesy, right? But sometimes I wonder if I was building the app or if the app was building me. Bit cheesy, but we finish on the cheese, right? But either way, like, it's helped me regain a lot of control over my own body, and that belief that I'm no longer just a brain in a body, like driving a car kind of thing, but this is actually part of who I am. So it means a lot to me, this product. And that's sometimes a problem as an entrepreneur. And that's really what I want to test. Can this app drive change that I've seen in myself in other people? And to everyone watching, if that feels like you, do drop in to the app itself. So you can go to hapcha.com to download the app from either the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. For now, maybe there'll be more options in the future, who knows?
Yes.
But you can also find the link on there to our Discord. If you hit the community tab, you can find the link to our Discord. I'm on there all the time. There's a couple of other people on there as well, and there's a really great nutrition and health Web3 community forming there. So come and say hi. It'd be great to see you.
Yes, appreciate you, Alistair. I'm gonna pull you out and then do my outro, and let's talk a little bit more.
Cheers. Thanks, Steve. See you later.
Hey, so we just had Alistair on with the Hapcha app. I think another great product that's integrating Web3. And like I said just a moment ago, I'm into health and fitness and stuff. So I think this is some value. I will put the links in the description, the hapcha.com, the link to the NFTs, and also the Discord. So if you have any questions, make sure you go reach out to Alistair and the team over there at Hapcha. And again, you are watching Passive Income Network with C. Will. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And until the next one, y'all, I am gone.